So time it is understood by the spirit. It's not only a question of being able to hear and and to respond to the calling, to the invitation, but it's an opportunity, each cycle, to look at what is coming together, as a preparation for Pesach, and definitely sort of the meeting point of what kind of or which portion of Torah we're reading, in that beginning of the month, and because everything is going after the beginning, sort of how it was made possible, and actually what conditioned the possibility, who conditioned the possibility, the question or the quest that conditioned the possibility of the spirit coming into a revelation as a reality in our life, in not only in the personal life, but in human being life. So it's each year it dresses with a different meaning, and it gives us a different opening, a different approach. So it's very much to do with the call of the higher for the lower to open even a very very narrow way, or just to express something which is a beginning of a consciousness, something that is just bud, and is actually searching for the power to complete itself, or to come into a life expression, one can say. So it is quite clear that we're speaking about being able to communicate, and being able to communicate in the language of the spirit is having an intention, or having the fundamental screen, mouth, that can actually utter something that has been cooked in our mind, in our consciousness, in our mind, in our will, that even if it did not yet conjure the words, it definitely conjure the feeling or the need, the feeling of the need. Okay. So it seems that this portion of Tazria speaks about how the vessel, meaning the will to receive, actually act as one can say, as a starter or a root, the root of having the possibility to create life, meaning not only to be impregnated, but to respond by itself, to impregnate the higher, so it can bring about the right order of the extension of the light to the creative, to every creative, but even to, when we speak about every creative, depends on the degree of willingness, or degree of acceptance and acknowledgement of the need. It's more than it's a crucial to understand the crucial condition of being actually Adam, or being human. If we sort of zimmer it down into how it should be, yeah, or how it could be. So when we speak about Tezave, we see that as the part, the female, which is the vessel, decides or is able to actually impregnate the higher and then give birth. It can give birth to either more consciousness of the will to receive, which need a certain process or procedure, what's called certain procedure to reform itself, or actually to give birth to the will or to the reality of bestowal. But in any case, the next step is that the moment the light is shed upon that vessel, it discovers its affliction. And when it discovers its affliction, the right way to go about it is to go to the priest, meaning to go to the right side. To go to the right side can give us the measurement of how actually to treat ourselves in a way that it will not block us from the extension of the light. And therefore, it goes to the importance or the root of where from genealogy or the spirit started, in which spirit. So we can see that when Avraham is asking, how do I know, or how will I inherit all those great lights? And the response is that it's the agreement, one can say, the agreement of the vessel to go into impregnation or to go into exile in order to be able to be under the pressure that will bring them, or under the conditions that will bring them to actually be able to understand and to sort out the need, actually the need for faith, the need for something higher to determine their identity and their speech, in order to be able to be a true part, not only of the plan, but a true part of reality. So usually we think about Avraham as, not we think about it, but it's the way Avraham is proposed to be the beginning of the extension of grace into the world, and to be, one can say, the light. Grace is the light of which the world is being built or reformed. Okay. So it is clear to us that this is, let's say, the bright side of the patriarch structure. Okay, would be Pesach, that what is attributed to it is grace, and then when we look at the root of it in Avraham, what we see is basically the root of exile, meaning the root that will push all the vessels into sort of furnace that will sort of sort their will, sort their consciousness. But when we look at Sarah and we look at the prefiguration of of the exile of a nation, or exile of Israel as a Jacob's family to Egypt. The prefiguration is a story of Abraham and Sarah going into exile into Egypt, and actually Sarah is the one that is leading the possibility of the present and the future for redemption. Okay, to be able to actually come out of it. So it's going into Egypt with Abraham, being the one that wisdom and the right order of the descent of the light is being revealed in her, and the means and ways, meaning the way it will persuade Paro to actually let the spirit go, is through her. It's through her speech. So in a way, she prepares the future in her present. So on the face of grace, which is actually the face, meaning if we speak about redemption as having two faces, the rear and the front, the rear is the question how it will happen. And the answer, which is in Aram, and the answer is with the future of the way Sarah will inflict, and by infliction she will reveal. Okay, she will reveal the light and the ability to use wisdom as it should be, meaning as it's been born out of the reliance of Abraham on her ability to rescue the future, okay? His future and Israel's future, or the possibility of belief in the world, one can say.